The system was never built to make anyone feel like they'd finally made it. It was built to keep everyone reaching for the next glass door. So, what actually matters here? Not chasing the tier. Chasing the habits that quietly build the number underneath it. Stop banking anywhere that profits from your mistakes. Plenty of banks and credit unions now charge zero overdraft fees. Don't try to look private bank before you are one. The perks are a side effect of net worth, never a shortcut to it. And the day a bank starts calling you first, don't take it as flattery. Take it as information. It just means your number finally crossed a line somebody else drew. Years later, Daniel is the one getting the tasting invite. $25 million sits across his accounts. And some mornings his phone still buzzes, a different private bank, wanting to discuss the relationship. He smiles now instead of chasing it, because somewhere along the way, Daniel learned the one thing every tier had been hiding. The number was never the finish line. It was just the bank finally admitting it had been watching him the whole time. You're 22. Full-time job. $20,000 a year. In 2026, the federal government draws the poverty line for one person at just under $16,000. So technically you're not poor. You're about 25% above it. It does not feel like 25% above anything. Rent eats almost half of what actually lands in your account. There's no line item for unexpected. Every purchase gets a silent gut check first. Coffee, a haircut, the bus fare. Here's what nobody tells you about this level. It's the only income in this entire video where you're forced to know, to the dollar, exactly where your money goes. There isn't enough of it to hide. That forced habit is about to become the single most valuable skill you will ever own. You just won't get to cash it in for another 28 years. Hold on to that number. We're coming back to it. Fast forward. $45,000 now. More than double where you started. That's close to the median income for individual workers in America. On paper, you've crossed into normal. You do not feel double as secure. You feel maybe 10% more secure. Because something starts happening at 45 that never happened at 20. You stop checking your account before every purchase. You upgrade the apartment by one bedroom. Delivery replaces cooking on tired nights. None of these decisions are wrong on their own. But together, they're the first trades in a pattern that's about to repeat at every income level for the rest of this video. The moment the number goes up, some of the relief it should have bought gets spent before it even arrives. You didn't get richer. You got better at hiding the same tightness in nicer packaging. And it's about to happen again at a number most people think is the finish line. $85,000. Almost exactly the median household income in America. This number carries a myth with it. In 2010, two Princeton researchers published a famous study claiming happiness rises with income only up to about $75,000, and after that, more money buys nothing. Not more joy, not more peace. A flat line. That number got repeated for over a decade. It became a permission slip to stop chasing more. It wasn't true. Not the way it got repeated. In 2021, a University of Pennsylvania researcher reran the numbers with better data and found happiness kept climbing well past $75,000 for most people, with no ceiling in sight. The two researchers eventually teamed up to settle it. The 2023 answer. They were both right, for different people. For most people, happiness keeps rising with income, no plateau anywhere. But for a smaller group, researchers estimate around 15% of people, the ones already struggling emotionally before money entered the picture, happiness does flatten out, right around $100,000. More money stops fixing what money was never causing in the first place. So if you're sitting at $85,000 and it still doesn't feel like enough, the honest answer might not be about the number at all. Which makes what happens next even stranger, because the people about to earn almost double what you're earning right now are about to feel worse. Not better. $150,000. Welcome to the six-figure club. It sounds exclusive because it is. Even in 2026, only around 13 to 15% of individual workers in America ever personally cross the $100,000 line. At 150, you're near the top of that group. This is the number people spend their 20s chasing. The one that's supposed to mean you've made it. And yet, in recent surveys, Roughly a quarter of people earning between $100,000 and $200,000 say they're living paycheck to paycheck. Not because rent is unaffordable, because the lifestyle expanded exactly as fast as the income did. Nicer car, bigger apartment, real vacations. Every raise had a job waiting for it before it ever touched savings. By almost every objective measure, you're doing well. You would not describe yourself that way. And here's the part that should actually bother you. The version of you about to earn nearly 3 times this much is going to feel even less secure than you do right now. $400,000 a year. Somewhere in the top 3 to 4% of household earners in the entire country. This is supposed to be where the story resolves. The number finally big enough to outrun any lifestyle you could throw at it. It isn't. According to a 2025 Goldman Sachs survey, 25% of people earning $100,000 to $200,000 say they live paycheck to paycheck. That number actually drops to 16% for people earning $200,000 to $300,000, the lowest point in the entire survey. Then, at $300,000 to $500,000, it jumps to 41%. Nearly identical for people earning over $500,000. Read that again. The people earning 3 to 5 times more than the 6-figure earners from the last level are more likely to say they're barely keeping their heads above water. It's not a line. It's a financial stress drops, bottoms out somewhere around $250,000, then climbs right back up as income keeps rising. Why? Because at this level, you're not keeping up with rent anymore. You're keeping up with private school tuition, a mortgage sized for the house this income earned you, a social circle where everyone appears to be doing the same thing, so slowing down feels like falling behind in public. The bills are bigger. The debt is bigger. And I'll fix it once I make more has been true for so long that nobody stops to check if it's still true now. You are, on paper, one of the highest earners in the country. And you are more anxious about money than you were at $85,000. So where does it actually end? What number finally buys the piece every level below it was promised? Here's the part nobody expects. It was never a number on a paycheck. It's a completely different game hiding behind the same word. Say millionaire, and most people picture someone earning $1 million a year. That person exists, barely. Roughly 1 in every 300 working Americans crosses the 7-figure income mark in a given year. It's one of the rarest incomes in the country. And by the time you're up there, more than a third of every dollar past the first $640,000 is gone in tax before you ever touch it. Meanwhile, there are close to 24 million millionaires living in America right now. Roughly 1 in 14 people. Almost none of them got there with $1 million salary. The typical one took about 28 years. Reached the milestone around age 50. Built it through an ordinary paycheck, a retirement account nobody talked about at parties, and one decision repeated for decades. Spend meaningfully less than what came in, and let the difference sit somewhere it could grow. That difference is the entire story of this video. At $20,000, it was forced on you. At every level after that, it became optional. And at $400,000, for almost half the people at that income, it had quietly disappeared completely, buried under a lifestyle that grew exactly as fast as the paycheck that was supposed to outrun it. So if you're anywhere on this ladder right now, and statistically, you are, here's the one move that changes which version of you shows up at the next level. Every time your income goes up, before your lifestyle gets a vote, send a real piece of that raise somewhere it can't be casually spent. Half is a common enough rule for a reason. Half funds the future. Half funds the upgrade you've earned. Not all of it. Not none of it. Do that at $20,000, and you're building the habit when it costs you almost nothing to feel disciplined. Do it at $400,000, and you're the rare person in that bracket who isn't quietly panicking. The number never protects you. The gap does. And the gap is the only part of this entire equation